Jason, welcome. Today we'll be going through a health screening and seeing if you have any risk stratifications or issues that would prevent you from any exercise. So if you could please fill out this information. There's a consent form and a health history form that I'd like you to fill out before we get started. Jason, the reason we will be going through the health screening and risk stratification process is to find any present signs and symptoms or risk factors of cardiovascular, pulmonary, or metabolic diseases. By looking for these issues, we can ensure that we optimize your safety during exercise testing and aid in the development of safe and effective exercise prescription programming. The purpose of the pre-participation health screening includes identifying if you have medical issues that could exclude you from exercise, and we would hold you from exercise until those issues have been controlled. Also to recognize if you have any clinically significant disease or if you should have medical supervision during exercise. To detect if you are at risk for diseases based off of age, symptoms, or other risk factors, and if you should be evaluated by medical professionals before starting any exercise or increasing any exercise that you are currently doing, as well as to recognize if you have special needs that may affect exercise testing during programming. Now, we will go over any positive risk factors that you may have on your document here. So the consent form is signed, so this is all legal. And as I look at your health screening questionnaire, I see that based on your history, there's not a whole lot with disease that we need to worry about. However, you do not know your cholesterol level, which will put that as a positive risk factor. If you have two positive risk factors, then that can put you in a different category. Since I do not see that there's any history of cardiovascular disease, pulmonary disease, or metabolic disease, then you should be clear of not being in the high risk factor. So just to go over a few things, here there's a chart that lists out all of the positive risk factors, and as I said before, based on how many you have, will place you in certain categories. So, how old are you?
27.
27. 27 is younger than 45, so that is not a positive risk factor. Based on your family history, which you have not checked here, have you had a family member, a male family member who's close to you, or a father die before the age of 55?
No.
What about a female before the age of 65?
No.
Okay, so that is not a positive risk factor. Do you smoke?
No.
You do not smoke. Good. So that is also not a positive risk factor. How often do you exercise?
3 times a week.
3 times a week. For how long?
For an hour. And my job keeps me active throughout the week.
Okay. What do you do?
Strength conditioning coach.
Strength and conditioning coach.
Yes, sir. Get big.
All right, so that is not a positive risk factor. Obesity. How tall are you?
6 foot.
6 foot. Okay, so that would be 72 inches. And how much do you weigh?
190 pounds.
190 pounds. So we can put those numbers into an equation to find out your body mass index. And by doing that, we would take your weight at 190 and convert that to mass in kilograms, which would be 86. And then your height of 72 inches, we can convert that into meters, which would be 1.83 meters. Now when we take your mass and divide that over your height in meters squared, that gives you a body mass index of 25.75. That would not put you in the obese category, so that is not a positive risk factor. If you had a body mass index of 30, then that would be something that we would be concerned about. Now, Hypertension. Do you know what your blood pressure is?
Yes, I do. 126 over 76.
126 over 76. That's a good blood pressure, so you are not positive with regards to your blood pressure.
That's good.
Cholesterol. I see that you have not provided us with that information. You said you do not know what it is, so that will be a positive risk factor. And fasting glucose. Do you know what your fasting glucose is?
No, I don't.
You do not. Okay, so that will be another positive risk factor. And since you do not know what your cholesterol is, we cannot incorporate the negative risk factors, take one of those positive risk factors away. So to sum this up, we will go to this chart here, and you can see by having 2 positive risk factors, you're in the moderate risk range.
Okay.
Which means before you do any vigorous exercise, you will require a medical exam and a graded exercise test before doing this exercise for vigorous exercise. For moderate, you're fine. You don't need to go through any of that. And also, if you are going to go through an exercise test, then you will need medical supervision if you are doing a max test. However, if you choose to do a submax test, then you will not need any medical attention. So, do you have any questions about anything that we went through today?
No, I'm good. Covered it all very well.
Okay, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.